Damn these Biloxi blues, it happens every night. And I ain't never met a riverboat dealer that could ever be a friend of mine.
I have not.
The summer heat never treats me kind, it leaves trouble on my mind. So I'm bidding farewell, putting in my notice.
Here we go, right here. We're going to sing.
This highway does not know my name, and I don't care.
No, I don't care.
Headed my way for another place, and I got 3 good tires and a spare.
Right to the hook right here.
Just a white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there.
Low budget live, but it's not live. It's not so live from the LBL Bar and Grill. And I hope all you friends and neighbors, you low-lifers out there, I hope y'all are doing well. And if this is your first time experiencing the program that is LBL, welcome. Welcome. You are now a low-lifer. And that song is Biloxi Blues, written by me, sang by me. Some folks call it narcissistic. I call it fun. And cheap because I use my own music. No copyright infractions when you're using your own songs that you wrote and sung. Ladies and gentlemen, for the intro music, welcome to the LBL Bar and Grill, Bar and Bunker. Just hunkering down here. This is the podcast for Monday, February Uno. Yep, that's right. We got rid of January. Whew, it was a crazy one. But we marked it off. And we're out of it. And now we're into February right now, 2021. And that means one thing. We are in the middle of tournament bass fishing time. We're in the middle of good fishing as long as you aren't staring at the old hard water. A lot of y'all comment that every week. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry you picked to live in the North Country because it's wonderful at times of the year. But right now you have no soft water. You have no water to be out on. But we're getting closer. We're getting closer, folks. Big time tournament fishing is coming back. So I wanted to say this week, thank you. Last week, you guys, y'all never cease to really blow me away, but all the well wishes about the COVID craziness and my PSA didn't get killed too much by y'all in the comments about my COVID PSA that I did, but I appreciate it very much. And it was another kind of weird week. I had to go get more blood work done. I got to go back again tomorrow and get more blood work done. My muscle enzymes are still all over the place. I don't know. I'm still hiking. I'm still getting after it, out there. But and I haven't got my total mileage for January. I need to do that because we're on the track for 500. We're on the quest for 500 miles on these old legs. But did a bunch in January, but I don't know. I've been told to drink, just keep pounding the fluids and got to go back. I'm to the point, though, I think they're just trying to find something wrong with me. I'm not going to lie about that. I'm tired of being, I'm still all bruised up, man. Poked and prodded. But hopefully get some more answers this week. But I just want to say thank you to all of you for, just awesome. Lots of folks reached out on Instagram, trying to get back to everybody. I'm way behind on YouTube comments, but a lot of well wishes, and that never goes unnoticed, and it's much appreciated. So thank y'all. Speaking of COVID, I want to tell y'all this. Also, lots of talk about the vaccine. Well, I am living with the triple threat who has had the vaccine. She got round 2 this past Friday. First time, her arm was kind of just hurt, she's kind of achy, whatever. No real issues, though, didn't slow her down. Round 2 knocked her on her face. Let me tell you. Big time. Muscle aches, not a fever. I've heard lots of that from some friends of ours, but just wiped her out, man, for like 48 hours. So she's good now, but it was, it was kind of interesting to see. So just throwing my information out there, what little bit I observe, sharing it with y'all. Because I feel like there's a lot of, on the vaccine stuff, there's not a lot, publicly being said about the second round, because I know a lot of people in healthcare that have gotten it and it knocked them on their ass. So just want to kind of, throw that out there to be ready. If you got to when you get round 2, you might want to take off work the next day or 2 because it's been interesting around here to say the least. And I'm not looking forward to that when that day comes and I get to get the old COVID vaccine and just a lot of craziness with that. And I know some people are against it. Some people are for it. I don't even know where I stand on it, really. I think it's kind of weird. It's quick. It's one of the quickest medical innovations, I guess, that we've seen. And I know in my lifetime, my 37 years here. So I don't know. I don't know where I stand on it. But I'm just trying to educate on what I actually observed with the triple threat this past weekend. And it sucks. It sucks. Know some other people that didn't have that same effect. Know a lot more that did, though. And some of them had it a lot worse. But it seems to be like a 48-hour thing. I guess if it saves your life, ultimately, then down the road, because COVID can obviously kill you, then 48 hours, so be it. I had COVID and it sucked, and y'all hear me talk about it a month and a half later, still dealing with the crap almost 2 months later with some of the after effects. So, hey, maybe it's worth the 48-hour bug or whatever it gives you. As little stupid Darian is fishing said, it was worth it. Maybe we can all say that once it's all said and done and life goes back to normal. We get shot up. We get 48 hours and we roll on. I don't know. Enough about COVID. Enough about the COVID. Just wanted to say all of that to you guys, though. Huge week this week. A week that I've been looking forward to for a very long time. I know many, 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 many of you have been looking forward to for a long time. And these big weeks are made possible by sponsors. It's the only way these big weeks happen. 4LBL, 4LD in the MC. For you low-lifers. And I got to start by thanking Star Trine, Starbright, bringing you low-budget life for years now, kicking ethanol in the teeth. Ethanol sucks, man. I love corn, but I don't want it in my gas, right? Ethanol, it'll mess you up. So it'll gum up the works. It's going to mess up your outboard. It's going to mess up your weed eater, your chainsaw, your daggum side-by-side, your pressure washer. And then you can't do the honeydews. They let you go fishing, let you go hang out with your buddies, whatever. Get you some Star Trine, a little dab will do you. Kick the ethanol in the teeth. This bottle right here treats 256 gallons of fuel. What's your excuse? You don't have one. Nothing ruins a great day on the water like an outboard engine that won't run, so get you some Star Trine. Starbright also making some killer cleaning products as well. Gotta say a huge thank you, especially this week, to the fine folks at Sims Fishing Products. Fished this past Friday with a good friend of mine, Mr. David Allen, on the Tennessee River, and it was cold, baby. Cold. Slid that Pro Guide on, had me some Sims gloves. I was Sims out, looking fresh, feeling fresh, and kept me warm. Kept me really warm. So, because it was like 24 degrees when we started fishing that morning, and I am not all about that life. But caught a few fish with my buddy Dave out there wearing the Sims gear. And it was good to get back on the Tennessee River, played co-angler a little bit there. But I am here to remind all of you low-lifers, you get one life. This is very important. One life. Fish it well. Up next, a new sponsor, one of our new sponsors, Pro Guide Batteries. And I could not be more excited to run Pro Guide batteries. I've had battery issues for years and years and years and years and years and years. Tried multiple brands. Excited to kind of, hitch onto that Pro Guide wagon this year and see what they're all about, man. I hear nothing but good things. We got a big announcement coming on that, and we got some opportunities for some low-lifers to save some money coming up real soon with Pro Guide batteries. And last but not least, if you are still listening and you haven't scrolled, what makes this the big week? The week we've all been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen. We're picking up that Express X21 Pro this freaking Tuesday. Let's go. We're going to take it to the bass tank. We're going to put some Garmin's all over it. Put them power poles, strap them down, and drive it back to Tennessee, get it wrapped, get it ready. And there's going to be lots of video taken and walkthroughs and all that. So it's here. We are here. Y'all have given me a heck of a hard time about it. But the Express family took good care of me. I got tagged. Caleb Summerall picked his up this week, and everybody's like, hey, there's another one before you got yours. y'all are making me laugh. But those boys got to get ready for that big Elite Series coming up at St. Johns River. So obviously they got their boats before me. Posted a video up on the channel this past Saturday, and it was a video I shot with some guys at Express. My first experience driving one. It's kind of reaction video, talking about why I like the boat and why I'm making the change and all that. And man, most of you guys and gals out there were awesome in the comments. Got a lot of views, actually, this video did. But, man, some people are just bitter. Like, people are, and I know I'm not going to beat a dead horse with this. I talk to Mom's Basement stuff all the time. But, man, people truly are. They're very bitter when they're not a part of something. And they're like, why? There were several comments. Why are people pushing this brand of boat, or that boat will get you killed on the Great Lakes, or that? Just dumb stuff to say to somebody that's clearly excited. I mean, people are like, oh, sponsor dollars talk and that kind of stuff. Man, like I said in the video, I'm making this change for a lot of different reasons. And, if I was worried about the integrity of the product, I wouldn't be switching. I don't have to have a sponsor, guys. I mean, that's the ultimate thing. I hope that doesn't come across as cocky or arrogant, but I mean, I could go buy a boat. I decided to partner with Express Boats because of the people they are and because of the product they built. So I hate those kind of comments, man. But and I'll get at this on the big lakes. Everybody will say, oh, the big lakes. Well, I'll say this about the big lakes. I drove a Ranger for years. I've been in Tritons. I've been in Skeeters. On those big lakes, it don't matter. It don't matter, dude. You're going to get wet. You're going to get your teeth jarred out. The Great Lakes and big water aren't made for bass boats. They're just not. So anybody commenting that noise, get out of here with that crap. I'll pass you going up the creek. Y'all take your time getting through them big swells. That's good. But I'm going to go 70 mile an hour in my 21-foot aluminum boat, and I'll see you when we get there. And then I'm going to go shallower than you going. And also, I'm going to handle rough water good too. So, there were just a few weird comments on that video. I was just like, good Lord, people can't be happy, or it's really bizarre. But that's just the internet. 99% of y'all are awesome and just get it, y'all get it. But there's just haters creeping around. I don't think they're necessarily followers of the traveling circus or anything, but it's always bizarre to me, man. People just can't stay in their lane. I got a 2002 Triton, I'd take over that. Okay, well, cool. I bet if Express knocked on your door and said, hey, Mom's Basement Johnny, would you like this Express X21 Pro? Oh, thank you. Yeah, I would. Because that's how that goes, for sure. But super pumped to do walkthrough videos and get that bad boy picked up this week. Gonna be a fun week. All right, here we go. Moving on. I know this is one of those where y'all like, oh, he doesn't get to what he's going to talk to till 22 minutes in. It's one of those. I don't know how long I've been going, but I've been going for a little bit. It's going to be a good show, though. I promise you. This is one I've been looking forward to. Fishing's back. It's back in a big way this week. Got to say congratulations to Derek Mundy, whose name should be chiseled in stone, I feel like, especially around the banks of Sam Rayburn, maybe out there at the stump where you can get a greasy cheeseburger. They need to put Derek Mundy's name, bronze it. Put a sculpture of him in there. He blasted 70 pounds, 11 ounces in 3 days out there at Rayburn. But the crazy thing, caught a 39-pound bag that included a freaking 13-pound bass. And then on the final day, weighed in another 10-pounder. This is the same Derek Mundy that won the first MLFLW, Big Five, FLW, Big Five, Major League Fishing BFLs of the year, Phoenix Bass Fishing League presented by TH Marine tournaments, also weighed 40 pounds. 40 pounds. This same cat. I say y'all ban him from tournaments out there. This dude has got something so freaking dialed. It's wild. It's crazy to see. Everybody loves seeing them biggins. I was scrolling through some of them pictures on the IG a little bit. If you can get past any BPT pro that's actually fishing those events that they cover before the guy that actually catches the 39 pounds, then you can see oh, me. A little bit of that going on. But It's awesome. Congrats to Derek. He won like 40-something grand. They had almost 200 boats in that one. Rayburn tournaments to me are some of the hardest to win, obviously, but in just any kind of tournament, because that lake is such a crazy playing field. But to beat locals and tour pros and everything else, man, and just to dominate. I also have to give a big shout out to my little buddy, Jason Bonds. Runs around with met Bonds through my man Fat Todd Castledine, and Bonds is a Rayburn. He's a hammer. He's a hammer. I hate when people say hammer, but I said it. And Bonds ended up second in that event out there, and just still, he just didn't get close to winning. So sorry, Bonds, you finished second. Because that Monday boy, I don't know. That was some of the freakiest fish I've ever seen in my life, man. There's some good video of him pulling them out of the live well and stuff. It's crazy, but I still can't get used to the entire MLFLW Big Five Major League Fishing Toyota Series presented by whoever. It's really long names. Seeing a guy hold up an MLF trophy in a Toyota Series is still strange for me. I'm sure it will get, they were FLW trophies last year. I'm sure that it'll get easier to look at, but it's just strange. It's still strange to see it, but I'm hoping that all that those level tournaments have some boats in them. I'm hearing the Bassmaster Opens are at capacity at like over 200 boats. They capped them over 200 boats in each division, and there's like a freaking waiting list a mile deep. I'm hearing like over 300 and something people signed up for each division. That's wild to me, but I think they're going to fish like 225 or something, rumor has it. So people are wanting to fish, man. People have been cooped up. It looks like it's going to be a big year if this Toyota Series, weight-wise, man, we're kicking it off the right way. That was crazy to me. Of course, we got there's a Major League Fishing Cup event, which I don't even know what those are. It's like the World Championship or something. This is like the Heritage Patriot, stand for the Anthem Cup or something. I don't know. But I do know that Justin Atkins is fishing it, and he's not fishing MLF next year, and I think that's hilarious. But this is like one that's fenced when they fish out of their own boats. But that's going on this week. Of course, you won't be able to get any details on it, but, it's going on. And then the Elite Series next week, when I'm recording the podcast, will be during practice for the St. Johns River. So it's here. We're here. FLW, I think FLW starts, they're the week after the pro circuit. They're the week after the Elites. I think they're at Okeechobee. Got a Toyota Series at Toho this week, I believe, as well. Lots of fishing going on. Lots of things to talk about. I was sitting on the couch this morning watching the Bassmasters. It was on Fox. I've cut all my cable off, so I was happy to see that I get FS1 on Hulu. It's the first experience I've had with that. So I was watching that, and something kind of just tripped me out a little bit. And it was is fishing the only industry where we have knockoffs, like huge knockoffs? Like I was seeing this Minn Kota Raptor, which is just a power pole blade, and I'm whatever. A lot of companies knock stuff off. It happens in tackle. It happens at, Garmin Live Scope. And then you got the freaking Live Target from Lowrance. And one's got to be touted as better than the other. And, it's got like the people that come up with the stuff. And I know like Lowrance and them had down imaging and side imaging before other people did. I get all that. It just always kills me. Like Minn Kota has this high production commercial. It's like, put the Raptors down and stay there. The Raptor. Pew, 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 pew. And I'm like, it's a power pole. It's just a power pole. Hey, guys, it's just a power pole. One of the most innovative marine products ever. The power pole? Yeah, you just made a power pole because the Talon weighs 719 pounds. So now we got a Raptor. They look cool. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying it's weird to me that you put all this advertising money into it. And the fishing industry, to me, seems like the only one where you can get away with that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't feel like if you make a Ford Bronco and then somebody else makes one called the Chonko, I don't know, whatever. And it looks exactly like it. And they're like, innovated in our labs and by our engineers, the new Chonko. I just feel like somebody would freak out about that. But in fishing, it's okay. And look, I've worked with companies that do it. I've worked for companies that have had it done to them. It's weird, but it's like no holds barred in fishing, in the marine industry. Like no holds barred boating. It's bizarre to me, but that one got me. Not really even taking a shot at Minn Kota because it just happens. It's just weird to me. It's just, that one struck me as just kind of like funny sitting on the couch this morning. I was like, damn, is this is really the only freaking industry this happens in. And maybe it's because it's the one I'm in the most, right? But that one got me. It's just like, it's the same technology. It's the same, I don't know. It's funny to me. And the same with baits, everybody gets into, you knocked us off. I don't know, man. Just the fishing industry is very much like that. It just is. And it's changing. And that's something we're going to talk to our guest about today. Y'all pray for me on this one. Great guest. My guest is a bass fishing legend. That's all you can say about him, really. He's a 2-time Bassmaster Elite Series Angler of the Year. One of the funniest, most genuine dudes on planet Earth. And I'm very proud to call him a friend. Y'all pray for me because he doesn't do Zoom unless it's a Z-crawl or a brush hog. Ladies and gentlemen, Gerald freaking Swindle. Here we go. Well, as promised, via Zoom, not brush hogs, not old monsters, via Zoom and a crappy Wi-Fi connection on my end or his end, we don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, there he is, the G-Man. What's up, buddy?
In the garage on this day, packing up like crazy. And I'm doing this all by myself. This is I don't do many Zoom calls, and they might have thought you was joking about that. It's a big salty chunks. I don't Zoom a lot. And it's probably my internet connection out here because we got like 2 cups and a string with a little power pole on the end of it for internet around here.
And the
1-800 girls and got the stutter when it costs you $6,000 a minute to call from my house.
Gerald Swindle, there he is. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, right there. So I'll have to be honest. I text little Darian and said, hey, I'm having G on the podcast today on Zoom. He said, I'll pray for you.
Get him to watch his mouth too. I'll slap him around, put some salt in his tea or something.
Hey, you said that this week, man. You were on the phone. We're talking about Darian lifting weights, and you said, listen, I'm 50, but I will put a hurt on him. Can I get that officially recorded right now?
He knows it. I mean, I'll just go up and say it. Just ask him about them pull-ups and push-up game. I ain't got much, but beard game and push-up game pretty strong. Now, he looks good. He got pretty teeth and really nice hair. He wears some really, really, transgender shorts.
Small clothes, little bitty clothes.
Shorts included. He wears them Gerald joggers, but hey, when it comes right down to just getting on the old push-ups and slinging corn, he don't want none of that.
Dude, talk about that. Like, what do you do to you're as fit as anybody I know. And I think that people, especially as you get older, I'm 37, every year it gets harder and harder and harder. What's your number one thing, do you think, like staying in shape during the season?
It's the hardest thing to do, Luke, and all honesty, is to try to remain in fishing shape and decent body shape during the entire season, because it happens so fast. You can't eat properly. You don't rest enough. So you really have to figure out, is stretching more important than lifting? I've learned that during the season, if you lift too much, you seem to cramp up more, your shoulders, your back hurt more, especially with rain gear on. So I've learned as I got older, in the peak efficiency, I stretch more, hamstrings, back, all that. And then as I got older training, I don't really go to the gym and lift like I used to. I just do a lot more body weight stuff, just pull-ups, push-ups, crunches. I think you kind of, as you get older, you kind of got to get away from that Darian. He's going down there to try to look good, take his shirt off.
Oh, yeah. He's going to have that shirt off.
He wants some women to turn. At my age, they just turn the other way, But you got to figure out what you can do. And I think a lot of people ask that question. Say, hey, man, I'm getting older. How you kind of stay in shape? I said, really, honestly, for me, it's a couple of small decisions. Learning when to push back away from the table a little bit. And I do like to eat too much. So I make a conscious effort, try not to eat too much. I'm the guy, the weirdo. I'm the guy that parks on the other side of the parking lot at Lowe's, other side of the parking lot at Walmart. I make a special effort every day to walk more than I should, even hunting. I think when you make a life change, you'll see in a year or two, it kind of helps you stay down, because it just naturally, as you get older, you tend to put on weight. And that doesn't, you don't fish.
Yeah. It takes a toll on you all day in the boat, and I know you've had bad knees, backs, shoulders, elbows, you name it. You're the bionic man out there. So I always find that. I mean, you were riding bikes for a while. You really seem like you've got more into the cardio stuff in the last few years.
Farm feeding the deer, Leanne Louse. I said, we hashtag farm fit, and I'll go buy a pallet of corn that's 50 bags, and she'll say, "You want me to help you?" And I'm like, "No." She said, "You just gonna do it all by yourself?" Yep, because it's a commitment of working out. So I don't have time to go to the gym, but if I unload 50 bags and I load 50 bags in a feeder, I basically move 2,000 pounds twice. So the little things I think to keep us where we need to be, and I need to do a better job at it. She's back training hard now, but I think that's as all anglers with the lakes that we fish now, even though we ride some really good riding boats, being in shape can really save you in a big boat ride if it's rough.
I think so too, man. I really do. That's my whole thing this year. I'm trying to go 500 miles on my legs, trying to hike 500 miles. I did 180 from September to December last year. I think I can do it this year. And I'm just trying to get better, man. I'm trying to because I think all that makes a difference for sure. Whether you're no matter what you're doing, fishing, professionally, just riding in the dang truck, I think it makes you better off.
It's much better mindset. The meditation and the alone time of hiking and walking like you do it sometimes is a great out. To come in exhausted is a good feeling. There's nothing like a hard day's work at the farm. Her and I laugh because you go up there and plant them fields. You come in, your pants won't even fit. They sag. And
that's right. Yeah.
Wore out. And I tell her, I said, there's something rewarding about being this tired mentally. It breaks you down and you have a clear mindset. And I think that's probably what hiking does for you. It's a great getaway. You're away from the kids a little bit, the wife, the work. You say, I'm going hiking. You come back.
Yep. That's a fact. So, all right, this schedule this year, we back. We finna start back. You packing right now. You going to St. Johns River. But what do you think, man? Like this schedule for me is I look down and I'm like, dude, this old boy, geez, wheelhouse right here now. Like, what are you thinking?
I think there's going to be some grinders in there. It was funny last year. We got to the end of the season. Everybody's like, man, this ought to be a junk fishing, September and all that. It was so out of the ordinary and so weird.
It was terrible. Yeah.
You couldn't just wing around and make nothing happen. This year, I'm looking at it. It seems like COVID's dying down a little bit as far as people not being as many people on the lake, so they're back at work. I think we're going to see a much more junk fishing kind of schedule. I hate to say junk fishing, but a little bit more versatility. I think you're going to see some grinders. The one on that schedule is I'm most concerned about. I look at is Knoxville, because I know just how. And the reason why is we were joking about it, after 5 knee surgeries, 4 knee surgeries, 5 back surgeries, all my elbow surgeries, shoulder surgeries. Fishing when it can be that cold hurts. It really does mentally take a drain on you. And I know that Knoxville in February can be bad. It could be snowing. We could have water. So that's the one I look at and go, that's the one you gotta go in and be smart. The rest of them I think are wide open. I mean, I'm looking forward to Sabine. That sounds crazy. I love that little place down there. Some of the Great Lakes this year. I'm looking forward to going back. This is the first year that I've ever run a multi-unit boat where I've got Lowrance, Humminbird, and Garmin. Last year I didn't have a Garmin up there. I want to go back and see if Live Scope can help me here and there out there understanding what some of them fish do. So that whole northern swing, now that I'm set up like I am, I mean, I'm running a Lowrance in the console, a Humminbird in the console. I'm sitting here looking at a 360 up front, Lowrance Solix 12. I mean, a Humminbird Solix 12. I got a Lowrance 12 up here, and I got a Garmin 10. I want to try to take all these units and learn the best of each one and just see if that changes how you fish or keep learning the game. I truly believe if we don't keep pushing that on them type tournaments, you get pummeled. So I'm looking forward to the northern swing, but it's going to be an interesting year. I mean, Palaca, old Palaca now, frost on the cover at Palaca. It ain't good.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's always a wild card. I was actually on Fox this morning. They played the Clun tournament from 2 years ago, the second one he won. And dude, it was like everybody was catching 8 to 10 pounders, I swear. Like that's what it looked like. Then you go to last year, and it was just a freaking just grind cold.
And to people, the difference that a year makes, when them guys caught them, I wasn't fishing the elites that year, and I'm actually watching them going, man, I'm jealous. That looks so much fun. But they caught most of those fish within a 1 mile stretch of Lake George. All that went down together. When they had a little grass, the lake wasn't dirty up last year, it just looked like a mud hole. I mean, it looked like the Mississippi River after a winter flood. There wasn't a bass to be caught in George. Made the lake fish small, and it was really tough. I would like to see us get back to that, get some grass in the lake. Unfortunately, I just don't think it's there. You know, from what you read on fishing reports, see online, what I can look at Google Earth, I just don't think they've had enough water in there and it's cleaned up. So I think it's going to be a grinder again.
Jeez. And if you get bad weather, which you can't in February, then here we go again.
That's what puts people in them alcohol anonymous meeting right there. You go down there too many times in a row, you know, but it could be good. I'm actually going to try to leave a couple days early and stop by Harris Chain and fish some and break my new boat in and kind of see what the Florida bite's like. I mean, we could hit it just right. The 10-day looked like it's going to be stable. We could hit it on the moon. You could see some spawning. Unfortunately, at George, Crescent, and all them lakes don't have any grass, so they're so dirty you can't see them. Huh. So what's going to change things? When you can't see them, they're hard to catch in that mud.
Oh, ain't no doubt about that. You got to fish so freaking slow, man. Talk about, so this was actually something I had wrote down. You already jumped to it. You've got a lot of changes going into this year. I feel like, again, this is like second, third year in a row of changes for you, but this is a big one. And I've talked about it on here a ton. We're seeing so many guys going the route that you went, where you said, hey, I got a Lowrance, a Garmin, and a Humminbird. You were all Humminbird before. A lot of guys were all one or the other. Now, one check can cost you $10,000. You do get a paycheck from some of these companies. You get product from them, vice versa. There's all kind of different deals of sponsor deals. But now Wheeler, last year, he jumped out and said, hey, he told me to my face, and I won't say what he told me money-wise, but he said, this is what I got from Lowrance. They were going to be on my jersey, going to be on my boat wrap and do all this. He said, man, couple checks, you know, and I win one, I'm there. And he did it and won several events. So you're going that route this year. Are the days over of the exclusive sponsor, do you think, for some people?
I think you're seeing it. I think you're going to see a little bit of trend in that. The guys that may be a little bit more established, that may not have to have the total package on that and want the freedom to learn other units, are going to step out and do it. You've seen Justin Lucas do it last year, and they said, reckon what made him do it? I said, I don't know. I think about 275,000 reasons that he won why he done it. He wanted to improve his fishing game. He wanted to incorporate the best of all three brands. So you're going to see more of the veterans doing that. I know several guys that's doing it. You're going to, you know, if you're a younger rookie angler and you're trying to make ends meet, hey, I get it. You know, do the whole deal. I think that's going to be a trend that fades out in the future some, because when you get up under one umbrella, they may have one great product, two medium products, or two great products, one bad product. You don't know. But I think anglers are going to pick and choose the best of the best to try to say this is what it's going to take to compete. Because when we got up north last year, if you wasn't running a Garmin, you was done. I mean, they laughed when you idled out. Well, boy, you ain't got no live scope. Get in the back. And they was about right. You know? I think it was an eye-opening experience, because I was saying there's no way that a piece of electronics can make that big a difference. I bought it. The first tournament I ever fished with it, I won $11,000 and it opened. And I'm like, well, there you go. I mean, there you go. So I think you're going to see that trend more and more. It's nothing against none of the companies. No,
not at all.
They're pushing themselves to be better, but anglers have never looked at it as in a way as I want to have the best of the best. So it sounds crazy. I said, let me ask you a question. If me and you had a drag racing car and we go into the National Drag Racing Championship and we sponsored by Delco spark plugs, but there's a spark plug out there we can run 4 mile an hour faster and win $100,000. Which one are you going to buy? I said, it ain't no different. I said, you owe it to all your sponsors to try to be the best you can be, but I owe it to myself to not quit learning the game. You know, don't fall stale and go, I don't need live scope. I've heard people say that live scope ain't going to make that big a difference. Yeah, it will. Yeah, it will. I mean, and you can see them down there mating. It's pretty good. Now, what I did learn is it don't mean they're going to bite. So that's where I got intrigued. I'm like, this thing is awesome, because now I'm learning more about fish than every day. I can see them live time. So you're seeing Lowrance step up. They've now created a great unit. So now you're going to watch that. So Hummingbird's got to try to match that. But I do think you're going to see more veterans out there break off and do their own thing. I think some of the guys will realize this is the way to go, and they're going to try it. It's a little uncomfortable with the depth finder companies, because I get it, man. I shouldn't use this word. It's not politically correct. It goes against everything. But it's just like I told Amanda from Garmin. I said, I know that you guys are not helping me, and I bought my units. But I said, you just keep tabs and watch how many units I sell this year. You didn't pay me a dime.
Absolutely, man. Well, and I think that it probably scares those companies too, right? From the marketing side of it. I've worked with TH and marketing, and it's like the fear of losing your faces, right? These guys that go out there and do such a good job showing the product to the consumer, educating the public, and ultimately the goal is to sell that product. And you look at these guys and they're like, hey, I'm good. I don't need them anymore. I'm good. And you are a different breed in that you will talk about it, because so many guys, if they're not under contract, they'll put a black piece of tape over that logo and roll on,
That's a tough one, man, because when you put that black tape on that logo and roll up that service yard, they might put that black tape back on your forehead.
Yeah, that's right.
And you say, well, I bought my units. I don't have to run the logo. I don't. I mean, but does it show more class to show the logo and do what you're going to do? Absolutely. To cover that up, it doesn't set a good example in the service yard. And let me tell you something. Those guys over there, Andy, Joby, that whole group, Cheryl at Lawrence, they don't write the checks necessarily, but without them, you don't make it.
That's
so why
right.
find people that's going to work on them? So it's like I told all the companies, I'm going to promote them. But what I'm going to enjoy about it, Luke, is being able to do a seminar and be 100% straight. This is why I've done it. And this is what I'm learning. And here's what I think is best about Lawrence is their 2D, they got down imaging and their 2D sonar is unmatched, okay? Their C maps is really playing a part of everybody's game now. Garmin's live scope is so far out in front, nobody can catch it. But Humminbird still has 360. So you look at 360 compared with live scope, and it's the perfect, you put the perfect match up there. So I'm going to look forward to that part of it, just being able to educate people, because a lot of people have questions. They're like, man, it's all about the money. And I said, no, because I bought every one of these.
Yeah, you're like, I'm short a few dollars.
Yeah, I paid the money, because if this is what it takes to get to the next level of learning, I want to do it. And I'm no dummy. I watch Lucas. I see what Wheeler's doing. I see them guys. I'm like, hang on now. This ain't no coincidence. They got the best of the best.
Do you think, looking back in your past, when you're out there throwing your ball head jig and a spinnerbait, did you ever think you'd have 5 graphs and 17 batteries?
I used to laugh at people at the dock. I'd be like, hey, what y'all looking at? Jupiter or adult porn? I don't know what you're doing. And now I'm a guy. Now I'm like, hey, I would put a flat screen on here because it changes. And I think as we grow older, we've seen it as anglers, man. You've watched it long enough in this sport. If you're not careful, when you age a little bit in this sport, if you don't push yourself for that learning curve, you're going to get blistered.
Mm-hmm.
And they eat my words and say, be a time and place for 5 units, and that's what it is. It is. And I never would have thought that, and people say, well, if you fish shallow, you really don't need all them. You don't. I mean, I hear people say, I use my rod. Oh, I do that too. But I also use that live scope and that 360. And if I see a stump up there 20 feet in front of me that I can't see with my naked eye, I'm going to throw at it. So electronics are just as good in 5 foot as they are in 25.
Dude, I fished with you on Gunnersville last year, and you showed me that 360 in the grass. And then you called me coming home from the smallmouth tournament, and you said, hey, darkness, why didn't you tell me I was going to get my ass kicked if I didn't have live scope? And I'm like, I told you it was good. I told you it was really good.
But I mean, I got to looking around, and I'm like, if I could just caught another bass in each tournament, and it might not have helped at all. But had it played a factor and caught 1 or 2 bass in each tournament, it could have been a $30,000 swing in checks and even making the classic. So I looked at that and I thought, hey, I was loyal to where I was at, but was it an eye-opening? Was I woke when it was over? You right, I was woke. I was woke to seeing all them Garmin guys getting them checks and me going, I'm out there fogging a crankbait around, and they're whooping me like I stole money out of my grandmother's purse. I mean, they have whooped me down, son. I look like McGregor. I don't know which hand and how much. They're all calling. Hell, I ain't never got a bite. I'm watching them reel the crankbait, stop it, pause it, rip it up. Now see them try out their hands in their pocket. I was like, hey, I felt like that new kid in kindergarten when you first get there and you're picking your nose. Where's my friends and when's lunch? I did not have a stinking clue.
You were looking for nap time. You were looking for the map.
Time out, coach. Nap time. Somebody lay me down. Let's call it. Eye-opening experience when I left there to think, and I just thought I want to try it. I'm not saying that you have to have it. I'm just saying if it helps me learn about fishing, I want to be a part of it. So that was a big change for me this year. Last year I fished arc rods and luge reels. it was really my Lou's connection with Mark Copley, which is a dear friend of mine. And he said, dude, let me do something small for you. Dude, we didn't even want no money. Like, it was no money. Just give me some reels, man. I want to fish them. I worked with Louis down at Art. I said, man, I'm just looking for some rods. I just wanted a year to kind of stay out there. Do what it is.
Free agent year. Yeah.
Well, Quantum so long, I wanted to step out, look around, and see what was happening. And then, as Rapala merged and took up 49% of 13, they approached me with a deal and said, would you be interested in really trying to take our 13 top-end stuff to the next level? We got a great product. We want you to look at it. So I actually, because I hear people say, I don't know if I'd done that without fishing with it. Trust me, bro, I fish with it. I mean, and they have got a running joke down there. If it can be broke, you send it to 71727 Convict Camp Road, because that long-legged joker will break it.
No doubt.
I pulled through some product. And when it got said and done, I said, boys, I think you got a product that I can fish with and be happy with for a long time. And it also gives me a chance to help with the hard baits. They're really getting into making hard baits in the rods and reels. And I mean, I've got one of the new concept reels right here. This is the Concept Z, and it's got a Z slide, what they call the Z. It's a slide on here for a quick adjust. So if you're throwing in the wind, you can click that up. If you're throwing a light bait, you turn into the wind, you push it up. It's one magnet. So they got some like really cool stuff. I said, hey, I'm in with this. That's an Omen rod. It's a $140 rod. Did they make them more expensive? Yeah. Do I like that? Well, yep. Why? Because I can catch them with it and I can sell them. I mean, and I think a $140 rod is where we need to be across the industry for working people. It's hard to get a guy to buy it on a $500 rod that's making $15 an hour.
Oh, yeah. Well, I always said that I feel like that sometimes we get way ahead of ourselves. And look, we're just talking about $15,000 worth of electronics, $20,000 worth of electronics on your boat. But for just a guy to just enjoy fishing, to go fishing, you don't need to spend $500 or $600 on a freaking rod and reel. That's crazy, man. That's crazy to me. And I ain't ever seen a $500 one, in my opinion, that would catch more fish than the damn $150, $180 one.
Oh, that's what someone said when they was asking me. Said, man, did you fish with 13? I said, yeah. I also fished with Quantum for 17 years. Won 2 AOYs and looked with Van Dam one with it. And I said, sometimes it wasn't the best. I said, when I put the 13 stuff in my hand, I thought, this is as good as any stuff I put in my hand. And, of course, you got your diehard real people. They'll get on there. Barfield, I got one of them Shimano 1174 16-millimeter line counters. No, I don't. I got old gray and orange right here, and I'm going to plant it right there, son. I'm going to be wiping snot and breaking knots right here. I'm coming in hardcore. It's, everybody does something that's like, was it about the money? Everybody works for the money, but it's about an opportunity to be with a company where you step up and you can make a difference. Lou's was very appealing. But you look at the stable of people you're in with. There's 1,000 thoroughbreds over there. Still, actually ever having a chance to influence a product or put your input in, it's going to be pretty slim. With 13, they thought enough of me, said, we'd like to give feedback. We'd like you to look at it. And I'm like, so we started this process. We're actually building a bunch of new rods right now. We're building a glass chatterbait rod that I throw, which I like that. It's letting me bring my touch of fishing to the people, to fans, my fans, to people out here who want to try it. So that brought the 13 in. That was it, the merge between Rapala and 13 and this really cool company. So that was my two biggest changes this year, to step out there and say, I'm going to do this. But, last year I was a free agent on them, and I was ready.
Dude, I think that, these changes, I'll be honest, a couple of them I never saw coming. You've been with Quantum for so long. And when you called me about that last year, we're talking, you're like, hey, I'm going to be a free agent this year. You said Copley was going to send you some real shout out to Mark Copley. We love us some Mark. He's a good man.
In it. They're like, why would you go from Lou's to 13? I'm like, dude, the reason I even put a Lou's reel in my hands is because I have a great friend over there who said, gee, let me send you some reels. Let me see what you got. See, that's the part that people don't see on the Facebook post. They see that he just changed.
Mm-hmm.
I had a guy really was really, really digging on a comment about, I can't believe you left Quantum. Bro, it's a lot deeper, and people never say that. Quantum was leaving us. That brand got to sell. When you see VD get on old buck like Marshall Dillon did and ride out of Dodge and see me behind him with Festus on the mule riding out, something's coming. It ain't because the money went away or any of that. For me, I seen that we were riding on a short, narrow road. And I don't want to be there. I don't want to be capped off. I'd rather be a free agent and then have a chance to work with someone like 13 where the ceiling's up here. Where if you can develop a better product and help them with it, you can grow. So I think that's what it's all about. Lou's such a big company. Mark would have made a great place for me. And I love them guys. Got nothing against them. But I looked at 13. I was like, it makes more sense. Rapala, my boss at Dan Quinn, had stood beside me the whole time and said, bro, if this is what you want to do, they sent me product, Luke, and said, you try it and don't you worry about hurting our feelings. And that's a company that wants to get better.
Period. Yeah. That's what, as pro staffers, whether it's a boat company, electronic, whatever, when you sign a contract with somebody, that should be part of the relationship. You should be part of developing. You should be part of tearing stuff up. And I know for a long time you've done that. So to find another home like that's got to be fun. That's
the part that pro staff that nobody likes. And I talked to the guys at 13 about that. I said, you really just don't want guys who are trying to draw a check and fish. If they truly have the best interest of the company at heart, at some level, you got to report back in on some R&D and say, hey, man, I just got this new rod. There's something going on with it. The reel seat is not seating up right. I said that's your eyes in the field. The same as we get a product and we see something, we immediately call them Luke. We call it Shannon. We call them Booth. Somebody, hey, check this out before we get 10,000 in inventory. That's what the part of the pro staff I don't think a lot of young anglers get. They think I put the patch on, I fish every tournament, and this is what pro staff does. Pro staff helps a company not lose money and help make money. And you can lose a lot of money if you get a bad shipment. And when you're dealing shipping stuff in from overseas, it happens on anything. You can have the perfect prototype, but when it comes back in, it might run backwards. You don't know. So that's the eyes of the pro staff. That's awesome, man. Young anglers, if you're watching LBL, you better listen to that right there, because I can echo that. I think so many people, they think, oh man, I'm sponsored. They put on a hat, they put on a shirt, and they think it's over. It's not over there. Just because they're sending you free stuff, they're paying you whatever. That's really the beginning of the relationship. Everything else goes to promoting for them and making sure their products are as good as they can be. And look, some companies don't want to hear from you. I've had those companies work with you, call them, they're like, it's Luke again. They don't want to hear you bitching. But the good ones will listen to you and try to get better. From a pro staff. 13, they were like, call us. That was one of the things that got my attention with them. And the workload this past year was a little bit overwhelming, because I actually would go fish tournaments with all my gear for Lew's and Ark and all, and then I would come home and go fishing by myself and spool up 13 rods and reels, which is a lot of work. Go fishing with nobody around, no video, and test and test and test and test, and then come back home, take all that out of the boat, and then go back and fish the tournaments to be, do the right thing. So I logged up a lot of hours testing this, and which is what they wanted. That's the part of the pro staff nobody ever sees. If a company asks you to test product, they make a valid effort to go out and make notes on it and see what you like or dislike about it. So in this pro staff conversation, what are you seeing? So you are a social media guru, and by guru, I mean you just throw yourself out there. You are honest. You've always been big about video work and things like that, but we're seeing a shift. I talk about it on here, dude. You got companies sponsoring TikTokers in fishing over Elite Series pros. You got YouTubers have really made their way into this industry as a viable option to promote products, to move products. What are you seeing, in your opinion, from your sponsors? Is there like a happy medium? Are you getting pressure from your sponsor? Because you jump on, dude, you got a big TikTok. Like, you jump on TikTok. You embrace these things quicker than other people do, I feel like. Especially for kind of the generation you came up in fishing. But are you getting pushed? You hear guys getting pushed into different directions now? And I'm seeing contracts where all your contracts come in and they have social requirements and all that in there. But here's the confusing part. And I had this conversation with not one of my sponsors, but with someone else's sponsors 2 weeks ago. And I said, I get it. I mean, the Guggen guys have done a great job. They've come in and made a splash. They're YouTube selling machines. They've got it going on. There's some YouTubers out there crushing it in their field. That's what they do it. I ain't gonna cut. All respect. I ain't throwing no shade. There's anglers that are crushing it. It's getting the companies to figure out where that fine line is. I don't think you can look at an angler's brand and say, all right, I'm giving you a code. And if you promote this and you put this on your page and I'm giving you a Luke Duncan code, and however many baits you sell, we're going to judge you next year. Okay, that's just on social. How many baits did Luke sell on the podcast without the code? How many baits did Luke sell when he's at tournaments? And that's what I tell him. I said, if I'm on stage promoting, talking about catching fish, you can't track that with a code. get on the Bassmaster stage and go, it's GS Swindle with the code 774. So you gotta figure out what product you're buying. Are you buying a guy that just sells a code and the only way you can track him? Or you're sponsoring a professional who has vehicle, boat, truck presence on the wrap, jersey. He's out working tournaments. He's out speaking. It's hard for you to track how many baits I sell when I'm at a seminar. So I think that's what we're having trouble. I'm having a little trouble with watching some of these companies that they're quick to judge what's sold just on that cue because they can track it.
Yes.
That's hard to say that that's all that guy particularly sold. So I think that's where we're going to have to be as anglers. We got to get more savvy about how to prove to those companies what it is. And it's great if TH can run a code on somebody and they could sell product and they go, hey, it's worth it, Shannon. It's a no-brainer. But she also knows what that guy does across the country. When he walks in the dealership and they say, hey, Gerald, what kind of plate you running? I'm running the Atlas. What size? 10-inch on that Phoenix? That's what I run. I run 2.5-degree wedge. You can't track that. That's where it gets real complicated. So you hope that the new marketing people taking over, and you're seeing a much younger tech-savvy marketing departments, that's all they track, social. So figuring out how to mix that, I ain't got that figured out yet. I really don't. I know that Facebook, people are always saying the Facebook numbers fall off every year because more and more people are getting off of it.
Yeah.
More and more people just, whatever political, whatever reason, they take the app off the phone. So you don't grow as fast there as you used to. Instagram, you can still grow some, but to grow organically, it's at a snail's pace. Mm-hmm. Now you can contest after contest after contest after contest after contest. Let me say that again, contest after contest, and you can run your numbers up, but you're only getting 6 comments. You ain't selling no product when it comes in and you say, hey, blister 21 pounds on Pickwick today on this jerk bait made by 13, and here it is. You ain't getting them 88 comments. So that's the fine line. So they're brought TikTok in. Well, you look see how many times Bassmasters and bass fishing has been tagged in TikTok. It's huge. If someone said, well, we don't know how to incorporate TikTok in our sport. I don't either, but hell, I ain't going to give up on it. If I can make a video with a TH hat on singing Carol Baskin and it gets 1.9 million views, I don't know if I sold any jack plate, but there's 109 million people know, my God, TH Marine. They don't know if I fought in a war, I got a jack plate, but they seen the name. So I think you have to look at every channel and what it offers and how we adjust to it. The YouTubers have got it down pat because it's trackable. But like Leanne and I, we provide 2 different yearly reports, 2 different companies monitor our brand all year to try to prove that at the end of the year that, hey, this is what that guy's done. So a little bit of that falls back on the angler to sit down with someone like you, potential sponsor A, and say, hey, I can do codes and I can sell, but this is what I do across the board. That's the fine line.
That's awesome. That right there, I couldn't have put it any better. I mean, I've been talking about it for a long time. I think it's good. There are good things and bad things in what's going on right now. And like you said, for somebody, because I had a sponsor last year talk about codes, and it's like, look, man, do you know how many DMs I get on Instagram with somebody saying, hey, man, I went to Academy and bought that because of you, or I went to my local dealership and bought that because of you. You can't track that. That's not a fair thing to me when I have a following of people that do enjoy suggestions that I make. Somebody may say, hey, what kind of line you use? What you can't track that, man. You can't. That's hard to track. So there has to be a happy medium there somewhere. And do you think that gets better or worse, though? Do you think that continues to kind of get away from us?
I think for the next year, it's going to get worse until the people in the company, but whoever's in the marketing position, can understand both sides. I hate to say older and newer generation. It seems like if you're in a really older department, it's a little bit harder to follow with TikTok and all that, what it is. If you have 5 million views on TikTok, they say we don't have any value. Everything has a value at some level, or those people on there wouldn't be making $50,000 a month on TikTok. It has a value. It's us figuring out how to explain it to them, getting that generation to watch it. But you hit on something, and Leanne and I, when I post sometimes, I'm fishing in a post. I probably should never say this. I post stuff sometime and don't go into every detail about what it is. And then I'll have a guy message me and go, hey, man, that reel on the left of your boat that you had that jerkbait on, what pound line you jerking on in the summer? 12-pound shooter sunline? See, he's gone. He at the tackle store right now. If I ask you at the store, does your truck, what's that, them tires ride good? And you say, mine ain't never had none ride good. They best. I'm looking at that tire. See, and I think that's what it's hard to track on social. You make a post, you sit down and answer all the messages, but you have 7 or 8 really good inquiries about, hey, where can I get those baits? Is there somewhere in Gunnersville that sells the OG from Rapala? That's how you move the bar. That's just hard to track, and that's going to be a tough one for all of us to get over. You know, you just keep working at it. I don't think you give up on it. I'm not going to be a guy. I've had sponsors. I've had people approach me and ask me to be a social influencer. Hell, I ain't an influencer. I ain't nothing. I'm just a guy that posts random crap on Facebook, and I don't know if people comment on it, but they're like, well, you're a social influencer. No, I'm not. I'm a professional angler that just happens to post goofy stuff sometimes that people laugh about. But I'm not a content creator. I just do my life. I think there's a big difference in a content creator and who you truly watch it. Is that his soul? Is that who he is? That's the trick right there. Is that a shallow person, or is he a hollow soul? He's just a creator making a video for somebody and leaving? Or are you truly seeing Gerald and Leanne plant greenfields? Are you seeing him smile at the gas station because somebody won't move a car out of the way? That's the content that I think that Leanne and I have been lucky with, that people relate to. But I'm not a social influencer. I had Goody Powders kind of say, hey, you want to do some social influencing? No. You take our product? Yeah, a lot. But I'm not a social influencer. I'm not going to get on my page and say, for all y'all to go buy Goody Powder, I get 2 pair of baby shoes. No, that's not who I am. I tell you, if you drank too much and you got a headache, hey, try Goody Powder. That's what I do. Hell, there you go.
Mountain Dew and Goody Powder.
If 2 Goody Powders and a Mountain Dew and a shot of Black Rifle coffee don't get you where you're going, you need to go down there with my uncle Mississippi and get on that stuff he's on in the Mississippi State Penitentiary. Because he's thin and he's always alert. Now, he ain't never out, but he's alert.
Oh, my gosh. I think you can't top that right there, ladies and gentlemen. I had another question, but I think that's about as good as it gets. I will ask you one thing you said before I hit record, and it's very important because you and I, we've always been buddies a long time, and then we had a fierce beard rivalry. And some people listening to this probably don't even know anything about it, but we were able to raise $25,000 for breast cancer. And I was noticing when you popped up on the screen and on social lately, I'm like, it's back. He's brought it back a little bit.
Got that hair going. I told Leanne when the season ended last year, I was so pissed off at myself. I fished so bad. I was so disappointed in what I done. And she's trying to be the wife that she is, a good wife. She said, hey, if the worst you ever fished is middle of the pack, then we're going to be okay. I'm like, that ain't how I roll. I want to do better. I said, I'm not cutting my hair shaving. And that was in November till I make top 10. She said, really? I said, no, make that 2 top 10s back to back. She went, oh God. I said, hey, have some confidence. I might look like a bearded warrior. I don't know. I said, this is going to be my new look. I'm tired of trying to shave and all that. I think we do little things mentally to do that. But I think it goes also what we just talked about a minute ago, marketing 101. It's what you do. I mean, I still remember the classic that Skeet came to when he shaved his head. Marketing 101. Young kids say, hey, man, how do I get sponsors? Stand out without making a fool of yourself. Find something that makes you different or what be noticed. And do it. So you and I had a lot of fun with the beard game, Strong War, and all that. And it was all about Luke's mother was battling breast cancer, and it started out as just, hey man, here's my support for you. I grow a beard. Your mom likes this. We're gonna raise a little money. I don't think we even realize as fishermen, when you get together, how you can change and influence people's lives and give someone something, the small piece of something. I tell people sometimes, I said, what do you need in life to survive? I said, hope. Hope. I mean, I said, you know, for your mom, it was something to watch on social media and say, them two they're plumb slam up idiots, but it's really, they're doing this for me. So your mom had hope. It gave her something to look at. It gave her something to enjoy. That's what we don't have enough of in life. So from my perspective, looking at what we've done that way, I learned a bunch. I learned that you really don't have to be Chipper Jones, and you don't have to be Marshawn Lynch or any of them guys to make a difference in the sporting world. You can do your part a little bit at a time and help someone, and that's what it's supposed to be all about. I think fishing gives me the platform to fish and do what I want to do for a living, but it also gives me the platform sometimes to provide somebody with just a small bit of hope.
Well, I can't thank you enough for that again, man. And if y'all missed that, go back and look. That we had a lot of fun, and we probably should do something again. Break something out. I don't know what to do.
I look like a Unabomber. If I'd have went through security, I got a rectal search, dude. I got up looked like Kramer. My hair was everywhere, and that beard running down the lake and it's blowing up over my eyes. I'm like, I don't know how the duck commander guys shoot ducks in a boat with a beard blowing up over their face.
Dude, it was like getting hit in the face with rain. Mine would flop up and hit me right here running 70 down the lake. Like, what the hell?
Good calls. Good calls.
It was a lot of fun. There were a lot of people who helped us out. But, well, gee, I'm going to be selfish here. I want them back-to-back top 10s, but I hope they're later in the year so we get to see. I want the Morgan Wallen and the beard.
I'm going to grow it out, man. Thanks for having me on. I've been seeing
Thanks,
you on,
buddy.
LD and the MC. That's quite the mix-up, the Canadian love, the Tennessee over there.
I mean, I don't think the world needed that or was ready for it either. Either one of them.
That keeps everybody on their toes. So anytime you want me back on, holler at me. I'm going to finish loading everything up. I about got my boat ready to put in the water for the first time, and it won't be long. I'll be headed to Florida.
All right, buddy. Good luck this year, and I'll talk to you soon.
See you, man.
CG. Well, there we go, Mr. Gerald G. Man Swindle. Hope y'all enjoyed that as much as I did. You can't beat Gerald. That's just always going to be the most fun that you have, regardless if you have technical difficulties, regardless if it takes a little bit to put that together with G. I got to tell on him. So he and I were texting back and forth, hey, you want to do the podcast? It's been a few months since you've been on. I want to talk to you about all these changes. And he calls. He's like, yeah, absolutely. I'm game. And we get to going back and forth to talk about Zoom. Yeah. Well, we got ready to record. I'm texting him. And he's notorious for not texting back, okay? Just notorious. So I text Lulu. She's like, yeah, I'll get it set up for him on his iPad. I'm not going to be home, but I'll get it set up for him to take care of. So bigger shout out to Lulu Swindle than Gerald on that interview. Hope y'all enjoyed that. Thank y'all so much for showing up every week to this insanity, for showing up to LD and the MC. Mercer and I have some big time ideas coming up. We're going to keep throwing stuff at y'all, keep you on your toes. I'm having so much fun with that show, and I hope all of you low-lifers out there and humpers, as you're called on LD and the MC, I hope you guys and gals out there are enjoying that as much as we are, because we do. We work harder on it than it seems. We're constantly brainstorming about bringing you guys the best show. Just like LBL, I am constantly trying to dig for topics, making sure I got some of the best guests around that I can get for you guys. Got a really good guest for y'all next week, who's going to be en route to the St. Johns River when we talk to him, kind of where his career kicked off last year. Just a little teaser. And this is probably, I will say, the number one, never had him on the show, most requested guest in LBO history in the comments. I will say that too. So I'm looking very forward to next week's low budget live, but just want to end like I always do. Thank you guys so much. Make sure, if you are new to this, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Like, comment, all that good stuff. Let's keep the ball rolling. We're getting close to 13,000 subscribers on YouTube, which blows my mind, because the fact that 13,000 people give two craps about anything I have to say is a shocker. Blows my wife's mind every single day. So keep doing that. Let's keep surprising my wife. But thank y'all. I'm going to take y'all out with some Biloxi Blues as always. The next time you see this smiling face, there will be an X21 Pro in this garage. Make sure to hug your mama and your daddy, because this ride is a short one, ladies and gentlemen. It sure is. Thank y'all, and I'll see y'all next time.
Spanish moss, a Civil War ghost. Well, I'm gonna leave them in the past. Any direction, Lord, I'll be fine. It don't matter, east or west. North, south, wherever the wind blows, I'm leaving those burdens at rest. This highway, it does not know my name, and I don't care. No, I don't care. Heading my way for another place. fare. Just a white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to